Guys, here we are for the last class on chapter 1 and 2 for Son Johnson. It won't be too long of a video. I just kind of want to go over a few things. First thing is we got introduced to the main characters that we're going to focus on. There are a lot of other characters, but we'll have to look on the main characters. Rami and Son being kind of the focus of the story through Rami's eyes about his father, and Jake being the main antagonist, the villain of the story per se. We looked into a lot of what Rami represented and what Son represented and what Jake represented by talking about personalities and things like that. That was our focus on the characters. What I want to actually focus on is the main theme that's going to fuel this book, which is family relationships. Now, just a quick run through of the summary again, just to rehash what you guys may not have known if you just jumped in. But if you haven't read chapter 1 and chapter 2, please go and read it now. This chapter introduces chapter 1. This chapter introduces the protagonist Son and the antagonist Jake. We also recognize the fact that Son's wife had divorced him a year and a half ago, and two of his children, Brad and Arlene, stayed with their mother, while Rami, the narrator, willingly stayed with his father. The story begins with Jake addressing Son and at Robin Hill for the money that was owed to him. Son gives him the Robin Hill's title as payment, and the chapter ends when Son and Rami leave Robin Hill for River Bottom with their mere marble and belongings on the cart. Chapter 2. Son and Rami worked feverishly to get River Bottom organized and habitable. It took them weeks to accomplish this task. This chapter highlights the difference in the way that the children were treated. Arlene and Brad were treated tenderly, while Rami was ridiculed by his peers, all because he decided to stay with his father. A comparison of Jake and Son's lives was also a focus of this chapter, highlighting Jake's thriftiness and Son's extravagance and excessive kindness. Ma constantly harped at Son to be more prudent, but was ignored. The reader also learned that Jake acquired his initial wealth by conning Son, thereby getting the nickname the Rake by Ma. So it's Jake the Rake, and Rake, brings in all the leaves, brings in all the money from other people. This fact contributed to Rami's surprise at finding Jake relaxing in Son's favorite chair at Ma's house, and Rami reports this to Son. We see that telling Son about this might be the catalyst that forces Son to wake up and live a better, more business-like, more sensible life. Now, chapter 2 has a few quotes that links to family relationship. Now, there are a few things we have to look at when we're looking at the theme of family relationship. One, when we're looking at family relationship, we have to look on certain angles or perspectives. A lot of times when family relationship is done as a theme, people think about the good family or the loving family. Like we talk about a family life, or we talk about the husband and the wife living together and the kids and things like that. Family relationship is zoning in on what the family situation is. Here in Son Johnson, we have a broken home. That is the theme of family relationship. Whether it's a successful or good family or not is not the focus here. It's about what the family is, how the family is surviving, and what has maybe affected this family, whether in a good or a bad way. Now we have Rami, who is with his father, Arlene and Brad, who is with Ma, and we have this split home. Not just a broken home, but a home that is split in half. And now we have to look on how this theme affects the characters. How has this split affect Son? How has it affected Rami? We saw it affected Rami with the peers and people teasing him for choosing that. How has it affected Arlene and Brad? How has it affected Ma? This is where family relationship comes in, because we're not just looking at the existence of a family, but how this family is existing in this story. Now, the first quote we're going to look on. For every mistake I made, my classmates laughed. It wasn't that they wanted to laugh. It was that they were supposed to. They didn't care about father. It was for me that they did what they were doing, because I had stuck with father. Everybody thought that now was the time that he should be deserted for good, because I was identifying with him. That and only that made him laugh. So Sansa now becomes this image of irresponsibility, an image of loss, an image of weakness. So because Sansa has this image, the fact that Rami is now sticking to Sansa is what the peers and the friends and the kids are all laughing at. It's like, look at what your father has become, and you're choosing to stay with your father. This is what the problem is. And this is what is making him get teased. And that's where family relationship comes in now, because a decision has to be made. And while making this decision, he becomes labeled and titled. Now, another quote I wanted to is something that Ma said about the family. She came back and sat down. Rami has become so impossible, she said to Jake. He's so cold to me, but the Lord knows I tried. His father poisoned him against me. Jake was still smiling, no wider, no narrower. I was surprised to have heard Ma say that, though. The thing about father, for he wouldn't open his mouth against her. He wouldn't in any little way harm Ma. He loved her. But maybe she didn't mean it. It was one of those cases in which she had to say something. She was just acting out a part. Now, here we are again. The family is split, and Ma is hurt that the family is split like this and that Rami went to the father, to the point where Ma thinks that the father is poisoning Rami against her. Now, this may not be the case, but if Rami knows all of these negative things about his father, what people are saying, even Ma is questioning, why is he staying with father? Which leads to another discussion question. If you knew that people said something bad about somebody, would you still stick with them? In this case, Rami would. And the family relationship seems to be strong between father and son, rather than a whole family union, where Rami wants to help rebuild his father, knowing that his image has gotten so low. The last quote that we want to use now, he says, sorry, sir, at one point, and then he goes, and indeed I was sorry, for he was not just angry, he was afraid of what I had said. But I had to say it, for it had bothered me for better than 2 hours. 2. I saw the change in his face, the fear of something or other, something irrevocable would have taken place. Ma would be married to another man, then father could never win her back. Now, those words hit hard. It hit Sansa hard, and it hit Rami hard, because what we notice now is he's recognizing that this is the end of his family. But at the end of this family, he's hoping that there's a rebirth, that something new can be brought out of that. And that new thing is the rebuilding of this new place, which is River Bottom. So what we see now is at the end of chapter 1 and 2, all of these elements of literature are coming together, which is the setting, which is where they are, and what the setting represents, moving from Robin Hill down to River Bottom, right? That setting in itself is proving to affect the characters, and how the setting affects the characters brings out the theme, and that theme is family relationship. We get to see the rifts or the conflicts between family. We get to see how family is brought together, which is Rami and the father. The conflict would be between the mother and the father. And we get to see how the antagonist kind of plays his role in the middle of all of this. Moving forward, I have to think of certain things. How will Sansa respond? Will he become a better person? Will he grow? What will he do differently? All of these things are factors. And all of these things we're going to kind of look into when we're going to chapters 3 and 4. So if you haven't read chapters 3 and 4, please read it now to get ahead of the curve. And I will also be giving you a quiz on chapter 1. I will be giving you some work on chapter 1. That way we're kind of keeping ourselves sharp moving on to the end of the novel. Alright? That is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, any questions that you have about the chapter or about what I've said, please comment it in the post comments area. That way, as a class, we can discuss. That is the class. Big up yourself.